So the first card out of the deck is pretty much echoing the same theme, okay? So this is the Hangman, and this is somebody who's bound up, tied up, and in a straitjacket and unable to move. All the blood is rushing to his head, okay? And in this situation, it's like, there's so much I want to get done. I want to free myself. I want to move forward. I want to move on. But I can't really make a move. I don't have all the answers. I don't have the evidence. I don't have clarity in order to either break away from a situation or have the clarity in order to react to a situation in a certain way. And so I feel like in a connection between you and another person, one party feels very much tied up and bound and not able to make a decision. And then I also feel like the other party is waiting, okay? This person is in stagnation and this person's waiting. They've got their binoculars, they're scanning the horizon, looking for signs of you, looking for communication, potentially even looking for contact. And I feel for many of you, you want to reach out. You want to make your presence known. You want to communicate. You want to, you want to reconnect. And they want to reconnect too. But I feel for whatever reason, they feel like you need to make a move, either because they've always made the move in the past, either because they have always been the one to reach out in the past. You're dealing with someone who's very bold, who's very like, I don't think that they are impulsive. I feel like they're very bold. They're very passionate. They're very driven. Whatever they want to do, they have just simply got up and do them. And, Taurus, you guys are very methodical. You guys like to take your time to mull things over, to, find the right time, find the right moment, find the right words. And so in their eyes, they're feeling like you're keeping yourself stuck. In their eyes, you're not acting fast enough. And they're scanning the horizon for other opportunities out there. If you're amongst those opportunities, great. If not, they're not going to be putting their life on hold. So even though the connection between the two of you is very phenomenal, I feel like there's a really, really strong connection here. But then I also feel like both people are very much guarded because of, past hurts, because of the assumptions. Because of like miscommunication, even because of lack of communication. But there is definitely a longing here about two people wanting to reconnect, wanting to be in each other's lives again, wanting to swap stories, wanting to catch up, wanting to, see what they're up to. And they likewise want the same things. They want to know what you're up to, what you're doing. Is there anything they can help you with? So I feel like this is a person that really cares about your well-being. And if it's a love interest, I do feel like they have expressed how they felt about you. And you're probably wondering, do they still feel the same about me? They might have told you this, months ago. And you're just like, but do they still feel the same? Are their feelings still the same for me, despite the rift, despite the lack of constant communication? They feel like you might be tied up in something, in some situation. I feel like this Hangman is you. They feel like you might have been tied up in a situation and they would love it if they can help you out of it. They want to be of service. They want to know if there's anything they can do to help. They want to know if you're okay. And I feel like, out of the sense of personal responsibility, you got yourself into the situation and you're just like, I want to get myself out. I want to be the one that gets himself or herself out of the situation. So like, I feel like you want to be the one to, get yourself out. I don't feel like you want anyone to help you. You're still buying your time. You're still thinking about it. You're still trying to find like the most expedient or even the least cumbersome way of getting yourself out of the situation. Some of you could be, tied up in like finances, like marriage and financial obligations that you can't really get yourself out of. And you're trying to move on with your life. You're trying to move to another person. But for whatever reason, things feel a little bit stuck. For others of you, I feel like this might be like a work situation. where somebody's telling you, hey, here's a new job, here's a way out. But I feel like you're contemplating everything that you would lose or everything that you would leave behind. And so you're not really making a move and you're not moving forward with this new venture. And either way, I just feel like this is very much, I feel like it's a lot more relationship, interpersonal type of a reading. And so I feel like the both of you are trying to play it cool, and the both of you are waiting for one another to kind of reach out, okay? I feel like there's a little bit of guilt here from your end, Taurus. We have here the Nine of Swords, and the Nine of Swords is like unable to sleep at night, having, oftentimes it's like dealing with physical aches and pains. Okay, some of you might physically be in a state where you're feeling under the weather, you're feeling like you're not able to get rested, you're feeling just unwell. You're feeling muscle aches and pains. It could be as a result of a flu. It could be as a result of like overexerting, like working out too hard at the gym, pulling on muscles, things like that. But with this Nine of Swords, if we're not talking about in the physical way, this can be like thinking about worst case scenarios, thinking about like, replaying scenarios over and over and over again in our head. Like, did I say something wrong? Did I say something that could be misunderstood? Did I say something that could be misconstrued? Or did I make a fool out of myself? Did the person understand what I said? Did they get my message? Did they get my email? Did they get the phone call? Maybe there was, signal interference and they never got my phone call. Maybe I should call them again. If I call them again, would it seem like I am too pushy or too readily available? So I feel like you have a million thoughts running through your head about a situation. And I feel that it's keeping you up at night. And when I mentioned there's a little bit of guilt here too, I just feel like you have been spending your time focusing on you. And there's nothing wrong with that. We all need to do that. Self-care is important. And I feel like the other person might have reached out. And if you have not received the message, or if you have left the message on read and never responded, you might have felt like you missed the boat. You might have felt like, oh, I should have responded, or I wish, I had responded. It seemed to me like there was something time sensitive. And now that it has, the message was like read but never responded to, now it's a little bit awkward having to, reach out to this person or wanting to make this, to reconnect with this person. It just feels to me like, missing a boat, or like, waiting for the right time, or it's so belated that we don't know what to say. We don't know how to segue in to a conversation. We don't know how to how to reconnect. We don't know what to say to reach out and to get the other person to respond. So that's what it feels like to me. I feel like whoever that was waiting on you to make a decision, or to even reach out, or to even communicate, or to even respond to whatever messages they were sending to you, I feel like they felt very hurt. That's what it seems like to me. I have this Nine of Cups, which generally is a really, really good card. Okay, I usually think of this as like wish fulfillment, kid in a candy store, a bear with his pot of honey. But in this sense, it could be like a state where you are overindulging on something that is very rich, or something that is really, really good. And overindulgence can take its toll on your body, right? On your digestive system. You could like be overdosing. Like, so for example, this bear with this pot of honey, it's like too much of a good thing. Getting a stomach ache, feeling that sugar high, and then that sugar crash. And so I feel like the person that you're dealing with, I feel like when you're interacting with them on a good day, things can feel very phenomenally good for this person. They can be on like cloud nine. They really like you. They really like this connection. I feel like they really, really like you. And then for whatever reason, when the communication stopped, and I feel like it was stopped from your end for whatever reason. You were tied up in other obligations. You had other things that you had to deal with. And so time passed. And then they're wondering, what happened? Why didn't they communicate? And I feel like it left them in a state of despair. Okay, I'm getting despair from this card, where they feel very rejected. They feel very unappreciated. They feel a little bit stabbed in the heart. It's got like a tree branch growing out of his chest. And so I feel like, for whatever reason, this person feels very much like they don't even know what happened. And I feel that they're trying their best to move on with their lives. Being single, 9 of Pentacles. Going about their life, taking care of their work, doing their jobs very diligently. Hanging out with their friends, like resuming their life and making things feel normal to them. And not worrying so much and trying to, kind of push the memories and the remnants of you to the back of their mind so that it doesn't affect them on a daily basis. And they're putting on a brave face, okay? And then I have like the Emperor. And this is what I mean by, it's a very ego-driven type of energy where two people are kind of like, we don't know where we stand with each other. So much time has passed. And two people are wondering, like wanting to reconnect and then wondering, oh, maybe, so-and-so is already in a relationship. And you're probably thinking maybe so-and-so is already in a relationship. And so there's a stalemate. No one is really reaching out. So the 9 of Pentacles, this is someone who's very independent and they're single. The Emperor, this is somebody who's in a relationship. And so I feel like one or both of you could be in relationships, or one person is now newly single and the other person is in a relationship. So I feel like the sense of timing might be a little bit off in this union. You guys were never single at the same time, or, you both have significant others that you were in committed relationships with. And I feel as if even if you're both single now, it's really hard, like so much time has passed, so much has been said and done that it's really hard to kind of like reconnect. It's really hard to come back together. I feel like they look at you as this 9 of Pentacles, where you might be newly single and you're able to take care of yourself. You're looking very attractive and very good. And with this Emperor energy, the Emperor is very stubborn. He doesn't make decisions with his heart. He doesn't really talk about how he feels. This is a very solutions-oriented type of a person. And this is somebody who makes practical decisions. And they make really solid, good decisions. But they're very, very practical decisions. They're based in the real world. And they just don't factor in, the emotional aspect of decision-making. And so what I'm feeling is you might be dealing with someone who is a little bit rigid, who is a little bit like, they're very much by the book, by the rules, okay? And they're very like, it's about fairness. So I feel like, if they reach out once and you reach out, then the next time they're going to reach out. If they reach out repeatedly 3, 4, 5 times and they don't really get a response from you, they're going to shut off that avenue of communication because they're all about fairness. And so I feel like there's a situation here where you both are kind of looking at each other, wanting to communicate, wanting to reach out, and you're dealing with somebody who is very, very, very prideful and who is very stubborn. And I also feel like in the past, they might have told you, what they wanted. They might have told you what they expected from you. And for whatever reason, you heard what they were saying and it registered in your mind. But for whatever reason, I feel like it might have slipped your mind because there were many, many things that were on your mind that you were concerned about. And so whatever this person said to you, as to their expectations, as to the things that they want, and in particular, the things that they want from you, it didn't register, it didn't leave an imprint. And so I feel like you're going through, that Rolodex in your mind. You're trying to recall the conversation. You're trying to recall the situation. You're trying to recall their words and what they said. specifically pertaining to communication, pertaining to the effort that they're putting in, pertaining to when they're going to withdraw, pertaining to what they wanted and expected from you. And I feel like these pieces of information might be slipping your mind. And I feel like in the month of March, you're going to be able to recover these bits and pieces of information that was very important. At the time, it might not have felt to be so dire or so important to you. And so it slipped your mind. And I feel that you're getting bits and pieces, flashbacks of this conversation, of what they said, of what they expected, and everything is going to start to make sense. And I feel like this is somebody who's very much, I feel like by the book, whatever they say, they mean. Okay, and I feel like this is not somebody who's duplicitous. They're not going to say one thing and do another. And so they have been nothing but consistent with the things that they say and the things that they do. And so what you're dealing with in terms of, their behavior towards you right now and the aftermath of that, you're going to start to get bits and pieces of information to explain to you why they are behaving the way that they're behaving. And it's going to start to make sense to you. And I do see here